Welcome to Quietly Thinking Out Loud. I'm recording this is in a very early morning, and if you hear birds in the background, those are simply their daily morning announcement. Many years ago, I visited the Louvre, Museum in Paris. Like many people, I wanted to see the Mona Lisa at least once in my life. I remember the hall being very crowded, people from all over the world moving slowly forward in a long line. Different languages, different faces, different style of clothing. Some look excited, some look serious, some look like they have a mission. Everybody trying to capture the moment. Eventually, I saw the painting, and honestly, one thing many people say is true. She was smaller than expected. I think the birds around here, they're so active. They just want to be in this podcast with me. That's how I talk about birds organizations. Anyway, but after seeing the painting, I stepped back and sat on a bench in the hall, watching people. One by one, they walked toward her. Some smiled, some leaned closer, some simply stood there quietly for a few seconds before moving on. Even though everyone in that room looked different, somehow they also felt the same. Again, I'm sorry about the background noise. I think geckos also wanted to be in this podcast. Anyway, the people in there, even though they from different countries, different cultures, different lives, yet people still carried similar things inside themselves. Hope, curiosity, maybe loneliness sometimes, the desire to feel connected, the wish to experience something meaningful in their lives. As a Buddhist, there's a what do call it perspective describing human beings that it almost like containers. Different shapes, different appearance, different stories, different containers, different looks that faded by years. But inside, we may carry very similar emotions, fears, dreams, and attachments. But eventually, perhaps what matters most is not the container itself, but what it contains. If there is water inside, is it clear or muddy? And over time, I also accepted something else. I cannot fix the whole world. The world is too large for one person. But maybe the best I can do is to look after what I carry inside myself. to notice what I allow to stay there. Anger, resentment, fear, or kindness, compassion, or peace. Not to become perfect, not to become crystal clear all the time, but perhaps clear enough to feel lighter, clear enough to see life a little more gently, clear enough not to add unnecessary heaviness to myself and to others. And somehow that idea brought me back to the bench in that hall again. I visited that hall numerous times actually, but it was the time, it was during those days. She was, in the same room with many other painting. Every time I'm there, I always sat on the bench watching people, watching the room, watching life move around her, and notice what's inside of me, what I think of what I see, what's in front of me, how I change in life, and also perceptions about the world, about people. And years later, I learned that she now has her own room, her own space, and somehow I think and smile at that thought that I imagine her progressing in life, but then another thought quietly follow. Perhaps being at the top can feel lonely sometimes too, while many of her peers remain together where they had always been. She was moved into a separate space of her own, just like her own office. And I suppose life can be like that sometimes. Visibility, importance, success, they may bring admiration, but occasionally they also create distance. And perhaps that is part of the price we pay in different stages of life. And people fascinated me. I always been interested in people's stories, not to judge them, not to fix them, but simply to understand how human beings move through life. Sometimes confidently, sometimes carrying invisible burdens, sometimes just trying their best like everyone else. Working in human resources doesn't feel like work. It feels like I'm doing something that I enjoy. Over the years, I've been fortunate enough to visit many countries, both for travel and for work. I've worked with people from many cultures and backgrounds, from executives in boardrooms to employees on shop floors and production lines. And despite all the differences in titles, education, language, or status, one thing always felt the same to me. Human beings wanted to be treated with respect and dignity. We want to feel seen. We want to feel valued. We want to feel that we matter to someone. And perhaps that was what I quietly noticed many years ago while sitting on that bench in the Mona Lisa Hall. Different outside, but often very similar inside. Well, thank you for spending this quiet moment with me. Actually, it's not that quiet. um, take good care of yourself.